One man is being victimized by our own government. One man whom they fear, yet whom millions love. One man who is willing to take the poison arrows of lawfare. One man whose voice has been taken away by a corrupt judge operating in a corrupt system. One man who has been ridiculed and insulted. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who refused to back down. One man who stands between us and them. One man that wants to see America protected again. One man who wants to see America prosper again. One man who understands that a man is a man and a woman is a woman. One man who understands and protects the blessing of life. One man who wants to restore American exceptionalism. One man who once again wants to make America that shining city on a hill for all to see. A place where all the people of the world glowingly set their eyes upon. America. One man who unashamedly wants to make America great again. That one man is Donald Trump.
This is Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
Some people, the last administration, they didn't want to check anybody's ID or ask any questions on the way in. COVID, in the height of COVID. Don't even check them for that.
Don't check them for anything.
Bring them in. Now they all seem to want to check them on the way out.
Yep.
And the judges are, I think it was Senator Mike Lee that said this is judicial insurrection.
Yeah, I think you could say that.
I'm not a big fan of Andrew Jackson. I know you are. Andrew Jackson took care of this constitutionally.
Right.
Would you consider taking care of this some way or another with the judges in a constitutional way?
Well, I hope we don't have that problem. And I hope we don't have to get into it. But I will say we have millions of people in this country right now that are criminals. And you see how fast we're getting them out. And we're going to get them out even faster. But when you have to get out and do court cases for individual people, and you would have, in theory, millions of court cases, you know what that means. If you had one court case, it takes forever. Millions of court cases? They're really saying you're not allowed to do what I was elected to do. I was elected for a very big part of it was the border and getting people out, because I said, and the stats reveal it, when you look at Tren de Aragua, when you look at MS-13, when you look at these gangs and just really bad criminals coming in. You know, we have many murderers, people that killed, 50% of which killed more than one person. They put them into our country through open borders. And now we have to go to court to get them out. I don't think the people of our country are going to stand for it.
You're not experiencing deja vu. I played that cut earlier today in the afternoon show, and I've gone back and studied it even more, given what I've dug up today. And so I wanted to remind you guys of what he was saying there. Earlier show, I went through the Judicial Center and showed you what it takes to enforce a court order. And I spoke to you about Andrew Jackson and how he went against the court, did what he had to do to make sure that things could happen. And I talked about Dwight Eisenhower, how he did just the opposite. He used the military to enforce an order, to show you that the president has the power on either side, to ignore an order or to enforce an order. Probably the only branch of our government that has that option. The Supreme Court can't enforce anything. Congress can't enforce anything. They can't either, in terms of being able to, drive the military out to do something. They can't do it. It's only the president who has that power. And right now, everybody should know that. And the Democrats, I just saw something tonight, they know it. My problem is the Republicans don't seem to know it. And I'm tired of talking about Republicans. It should just be MAGA. We shouldn't even be talking about Republicans anymore. I'm so sick of it. And so something happened today. And this will help some of the people who are saying Pam Bondi and Cash Patel aren't doing anything. By itself, this might not seem like a big deal. This may seem like just something happened. But it's a really, really big deal when you look at it. So I'm going to show you something. And this happened at 7:12, literally 15, 20 minutes ago. You probably haven't even heard about it yet. But you probably heard about the judge and his wife who got caught letting Tres Leches guys stay at their house. You heard about that, didn't you? Where the judge was, he was letting them stay in his house. Kind of weird, isn't it? Well, that judge and his wife were just arrested by the FBI. 15 minutes ago, they went down. Breaking, FBI have now arrested the New Mexico judge Juan Cano and his wife, who were caught harboring illegal Tren de Aragua gang member in their home. This is how it's done, Nick says. More of this, please. And there's no verbal in this video, so I can just go ahead and play it for you. But that's his wife getting put in the car, and that's your honorable judge right there getting put into a car. These people have been arrested for harboring a newcomer. This video should be everywhere tonight. You should be posting it. And the judges right now who are doing stupid things to President Trump, they need to see this. They need to know. This is what could happen to you and your family. You're in the way. And you can be arrested. And so this judge here, he's going down. He is absolutely going down. And if it was harboring Tres Leches, that's one thing. There's got to be more to this story. So as I was looking around today, and I was looking at things, and I was talking to you guys about the Jacksonian nuclear bomb that President Trump, in my estimation, has to drop. There's no other way. The courts aren't going to do it. Congress, feckless, not going to do it. It's on him. And I almost think when I watched that interview with Glenn Beck a second and third time, and you can see it in his face. The man was pensive in thought. Some of you guys thought, oh, he looks tired. No, that's someone who's mulling things around. That's someone who understands he's got a huge, historic decision to make. And it's nobody's fault but the Democrats. They're the ones who have pushed him into this situation. They're the ones who are going to have to deal with whatever happens. Those and the Rhino Republicans. But when it happens, like it did with this judge right here, they are going to realize there's nothing you can do. And I'm going to prove that to you today. That there's nothing. And I do mean nothing that they can do. So why wouldn't President Trump do it? Check this out. Oops, wrong one. All right, hold on.
Well, I think there's a difference between saying whether you're complying with the law and then you have these individual district court judges setting effectively broad federal policy that is specifically reserved for the president of the United States. I think we do have a constitutional crisis, and it's being caused by these judges. They're not here to tell us. They're not here to tell us how to spend the money. They're not here to set broad federal policy. That is the president's job as elected by the people. These judges are supposed to be settling discrete, specific matters, not policy setting. I think Vance is right. I think Trump has a point, and these judges want nothing more to continue the lawfare against
I don't
Trump.
think anybody's going to be surprised to hear that you think Trump is
they're
right.
doing this on
However,
purpose.
I get it. You want.
These people are so over their heads in this, they can't even see straight. Scott Jennings, as you guys know, is fabulous, and he brings it to him, and he's met with smiles and stuff. This ain't smiling. This is not a smiling time. We are, as I've said many a times, we are at war. The war is here. It's happening. So let me show you a bit of this war. All right, so the judge has gone down. Let me click on this link here. I just want you to see all this. This happened, let's see, 2 o'clock today. Breaking, Judge Colleen Collar-Catelli, who was appointed by Clinton in 1997, blocks Trump's national voter ID order, siding with 19 Democrat states and lefty groups like the ACLU to protect non-citizen voting. Scared? Yeah. She ruled with Brady campaign and others to block guns in national parks. She blocked Trump's transgender military ban. She sentenced pro-life activist Paula Harlow. All this stuff is happening. And now she's back and she's blocking his national voter ID order. No, you can't do it. So what's she gonna do? Are we gonna just acquiesce? Wave the white flag? Oh, the judge says we can't do it. Oh well, I guess it can't happen. We're gonna let non-citizens vote. If you look at the big picture, you can see where they're going with this. Okay, that's just one, Barry. Here's another one. This one, again, today, 3:06 p.m. Today. Judge William Orrick blocks Trump's defunding of sanctuary cities. He's protecting illegal hubs. Appointed by Obama in 2013, Orrick was confirmed 90-1, so even Republicans voted for him. And now he has told us that President Trump cannot defund sanctuary cities. I had said earlier, and I kind of said it facetiously laughing, that it's just about every hour that they're doing something else. Now you can't defund sanctuary cities. Keep spending your money to the sanctuary cities. You're not allowed to defund anybody. Who do you think you are, the President of the United States? Then, this one was earlier today at 1:45 p.m. Yet another judge. Judge blocks part of Trump's executive order requiring proof of citizenship for voter registration. We are now at the point over the last 24 hours where it would take almost more than one hand to count the judicial orders blocking aspects of his agenda. It's a coup right before your very eyes. And I was telling people this earlier, and even Ron was like, hey, are you being a little exaggerating? Are they really happening every hour? I'm not making it up. Oh, I'm not done. No, we're not done yet. Okay. What time was this one? Here we go with another one. Timestamp 1:06. Judicial coup continues. Another one. Judge blocks Trump from banning DEI in K through 12 schools. Federal judge temporarily blocks Trump's push to end DEI in K-12 schools. The reason why these things, by the way, say temporary, because they're called TROs, temporary restraining order, temporary injunction, until the lawsuit can travel out. So what happens in order to get these things, somebody files a lawsuit. And then they go to court and say, listen, we're going to be suing here. We have a high probability that we should win, we should prevail. In the interim, we can't have them continue because people will be irreparably damaged. And if we don't stop it now, pending the lawsuit, who knows how many people could be irreparably damaged. And the judges are going, oh yeah, you're right, this could be irreparably damaging. Boom, let's stop it in its tracks. The lawsuit never has to go forward for quite some time. This is why this is all ginning up everything, is because nothing has been adjudicated. He hasn't lost. They haven't won. The judges are just saying, you have to stop pending the lawsuit, which could be, I don't know, 2028 maybe. I don't know. We'll see. We'll see when we get there. We'll figure it out. I mean, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 today. Let's see when this one went up. No, that's a summary. Let's see here. Oh, this one. How about this one? You want some of this one? Oh, this is the same one, and it was 245. But yeah, that's not a guy. That's the judge. That is the judge, Landia McCafferty. This is the judge who blocked the K-12 DEI program. So now you've seen what she looks like. She also allowed Transformers and girl sports in 2024. You had enough yet? It goes on. As I read some of this stuff, people are really beginning to wonder, how is this even happening? All right, when's this one? This one was a couple days ago. It's old. Democrat judge blocks New York City Mayor Adams from cooperating with ICE to remove the TDA and MS-13 who are in Rikers Island. Judge Mary Rosado worried that the cooperation would open the floodgates for mass deportations at the city jail. It keeps happening over and over. This one, I really love. This was 2 days ago I told you about it. Just in, federal judge Royce Lamberth issues order that the Trump administration must restore Voice of America, state-funded media outlet, keep funding it, rehire all the employees, bring everybody back. You can't stop this. Who do you think you are, the president? Let's see here. This was about Eric Adams. And then Elon Musk. Interesting, this post from Elon Musk was from over a month ago, where he called it, if any judge anywhere can block every presidential order everywhere, we do not have a democracy or a republic. We have tyranny of the judiciary. How do you foresee this ending? How do you foresee this presidency even being able to do anything for the next couple months without openly going after these judges and telling people, that's it, we're done. We are going to forge straight ahead. There's no way this administration can be successful if they keep allowing this to happen. And if you keep allowing this to happen, well, Barry, what can we do? Well, I'm going to show you, because the other side is calling on their people. Let's continue.
Individual federal judges who hate Donald Trump.
No, I don't.
To tie him up for 4 years.
No, I don't.
If you want a big
Not
policy questions decided, let the Supreme Court do it. But in the interim, the executive has to be allowed to govern.
The minute you start to have judicial officers...
Oh, I'm sorry. I forgot one. This one. When was this one? This one was the first one this morning. I was remiss. My bad. Update. A judge has now ruled that Trump must try to bring back yet another person from El Salvador. U.S. District Judge Stephanie Gallagher said that the Venezuelan person who arrived under Biden must be given an attempt at coming back by the Trump administration. So wait a second. Biden messed up and you waited till Trump got into office and you're telling Trump he needs to go get him? Seriously? Look at that. A judge has now ruled that Trump, this is the different guy. This isn't the Garcia. This isn't the Maryland man. This is another guy who's been down there that Biden screwed up. We must try to bring him back. U.S. District Judge Stephanie Gallagher said the Venezuelan alien who arrived under Biden must be given an attempt at coming back by the Trump administration. I forgot that one. I'm sorry. That was at 5 or 6 today. It just keeps coming. And that one was at 10:30 early in the morning. So if I'm wrong, Barry, you're crazy. He can't just overrule the courts. You might want to get used to this. If I'm wrong, we're done. There is no way the Department of Justice, the Solicitor General, can fight all these battles in any time of time frame that's going to make a difference. Why the Supreme Court hasn't come out and said enough, I don't know, but it's obvious you can't depend on them now. I think President Trump is waiting on them. I think President Trump is saying to himself, you guys got to do something. You got to act. And they're busy talking about Pride Puppy in schools. Instead of coming together and like Alito and Clarence Thomas said and say, stop this stuff. It's over, done, finished. We can't keep going this way. This president will be handcuffed. There will be nothing he can do if he follows what these judges tell him to. And if I'm wrong, I'll look at the comments here in a second, and any of you can tell me what exactly it is that we can do. I don't see any way out. I don't see any way out.
Performing the tasks that belong fundamentally to either the executive or legislative branch, you've got a problem. Look, like a lot of Americans, I feel a profound sense of frustration at the fact that we've got this situation. Over the last 4 years, we've had, depending on who you listen to, anywhere from 15 million to 20 plus million illegal immigrants brought into this country, essentially at the invitation of President Biden, with the welcoming arms of then Secretary of Homeland Security Alejandro Mayorkas, saying, come on in. And so we've been flooded with millions, some would say tens of millions of illegal immigrants. It can't be like getting an act of Congress every time you want to export a dangerous, violent, felon illegal immigrant. And yet you've got people like Judge Boasberg, who apparently wish they had gone into politics and would rather be serving as president of the United States than a federal district judge. The minute you start to have judicial officers performing the tasks that belong fundamentally to either the executive or legislative branch, you've got a problem. And I'm hoping the Supreme Court can help us get this cleared up and cleared up quickly.
So, look,
he's hoping. His words, we're hoping that Supreme Court can get this cleared up quickly. So, wishing a prayer, that's what we're waiting on. That's what President Trump has to do. Right now, people are like, hold on, let them do their job. They'll get to it eventually. And every single day, another day passes, another stupid law. Ruling. On and on and on. Next, they'll probably tell him he can't fly Air Force One. Hey, that was Joe Biden's plane. No. We're going to have to, if somebody sued you and said you're giving up too many carbon emissions every time you fly the plane, so we're going to just put an order in, you can't fly the plane. That sounds ridiculous. Absolutely ridiculous. From what we've seen, though, it's definitely possible. They are telling the president in no uncertain terms, you can do nothing unless we approve what you do. And so I look at the pained look on his face while Glenn Beck's looking at him. And notice I said it earlier, he never answered the question, hey, are you going to go nuclear Jackson on us? Hope I don't have to. See, that should have put shockwaves into the media. It should have put shockwaves into the legs of every Democrat, every judge. I hope I don't have to. That's not a no. No, of course not. I would never do that. I would never go like Andrew Jackson. I wouldn't do that. That's not the way. Nope. I hope I don't have to. You're pushing him dangerously close to the edge. And he's looking at that edge, and you're pushing him. You're pushing the American people. Everybody can see this. You notice they hardly report it anymore. They know it's so bad, they can't tell people this in the news. If they broke in every hour, oh, sorry, we got some breaking news. Another judge decided to put their foot up Donald Trump's butt. Oh, he's not going to be able to take the shoe out the butt. We'll tell you about it later. And an hour goes along, and you're doing their bantering and talking, blah, blah, blah. Oh, we got breaking news. Yet another judge has decided to put their other boot up Donald Trump's rear end. All right, Pat, continue with your show. Oh, breaking news. We got another judge. No, they're not telling you. I don't know how many people are telling you what's going on. I don't know. You guys can tell me in the chat. Have you been seeing these not executive orders, these court rulings one after the other? It's funny, all of a sudden, the media doesn't even want to gloat about it. Usually the media would be like, oh, we got him again. Now it's like, oh, you guys going to keep pushing this envelope? You're going to keep poking that bear? What are you going to do if he turns around and just roars at you? There's a Christopher Walken scene from the movie. I can't remember the movie. I've used it a couple of times. Other people have used it. And it talks about the lion. And Christopher Walken, and only the way Christopher Walken can tell a story, is phenomenal. And he's telling his story, and he goes, hey, it's hot. It's so hot. And the little cubs, and they're jumping all over the lion, and they're just driving him crazy. And he's standing there, and he's so big. He's so hot. Big mane, big king of the jungle. And they're jumping all over him and doing different things. And then the lioness comes over. And the lioness comes over, and she nuzzles on him, but it's so hot. And then the hyenas come. And the hyenas start nipping at his heels. They start looking at his food. And they keep just doing it over and over again, Christopher Walken says, until all of a sudden, the lion jumps up and starts ripping the blank out of these hyenas. And he runs like the wind, and he chases this one down, and he rips his head off, and blah, 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 blah. And whoever he's talking to, he goes, and the moral of the story is, because every now and then, you got to let people know you ain't effing around. You got to let them know you're the boss. And if you haven't seen it, go ahead and put like Christopher Walken's speech lion. Use those terms in Google, and it'll come up. And like I said, he's such a good actor, and how I forget the movie he did it in. Movie didn't do that well, but that's an amazing speech. It's just rip their heads off and run like the wind, because every now and then you got to kick a little butt. And he's a lot more expletive than I did. I mean, some of you guys may reminds he has to remind the hyenas he's king. See if everybody put the movie. But you can go ahead and look that up and tell me when you hear Christopher Walken. It's only like a minute and a half. I can't play it here, but listen to it. And you're like, oh, yeah. So right now, the hyenas are nipping at President Trump's heels. And he's, go away. Swatting the gnats, tails going up, go away. And how long can he be expected as a man who has been elected by 77, 80 million people not to just jump up and rip these hyenas apart? It's coming, because there's no other option. You have a senator like Mike Lee saying, I hope the Supreme Court will do something. Why? Because they can't do anything. The senators and Congress people, they can't even, you heard from Tim Burchett the other day, they can't even stop the money from going to the Taliban. It takes like We used to say an act of Congress. Now it takes an act of lightning. They don't do anything. They don't do anything. So this one man, as my intro says, this one man at this point is going to have to do it alone. And not alone. He's got people like Stephen Miller and Pete Hegseth. But he's going to have to make that decision. He's going to have to say one morning, screw it. We're done. Let's do it. Let's do it. But he's going to need all of us. This is Stephen Miller.
You've cataloged the horrors that have been inflicted. The rapes, the beatings, the murders, the fentanyl deaths by the hundreds of thousands, the destruction of entire neighborhoods in this country because of the Democrat Party's policy of open borders these last 4 years. You mentioned the threat of international terrorism that is on our shores, the millions of gotaways who entered under the previous administration, on top of the millions more unvetted that were caught and released into the country, and the millions more that were allowed to either fly into the country or overstay their visas. It is a clear and present danger to the national security of this country, and we have federal judges telling President Trump that he can't deport these threats from our communities. This is the choice facing every American. Either we all side and get behind President Trump to remove these terrorists from our communities, or we let a rogue, radical left judiciary shut down the machinery of our national security apparatus.
That's it. You got two choices. When I saw that piece, I was like, he's letting people know now. And I went, oh, now that you guys have seen the Glenn Beck thing, and you saw earlier when I talked about Andrew Jackson, now these breadcrumbs got to be staring you in the face. I'm like, wait a second. Did he just say, you got two choices. That's it. Stand behind President Trump or sign away your country. That's what he just said. Here, listen to it again. And there was no option C. Here, let me play this again. All right, here, listen to what he says right here. Oops, excuse me.
Trump that he can't deport these threats from our communities? This is the choice facing every American. Either we all side and get behind President Trump to remove these terrorists from our communities, or we let a rogue, radical left judiciary shut down the machinery of our national security apparatus.
That's it. That's it. Two choices. Two choices. And so this morning, that's why I talked about it tonight after seeing all of this, all of these, and I'm looking at my monitor with all the different links on it. All of these orders, these judges popping out of the woodwork saying, oh, you can't do that. Oh, no, sorry, Donnie. No, spankety spank. You can't do that either. They are giving him no choice. It's almost as if they're calling his bluff. They know this stuff won't stand. The Supreme Court won't step in, and it's like everybody is calling his bluff. They want this constitutional crisis, as they say. They know what could be coming. They know the lion may finally jump up and just say, I'm tearing the crap out of all of you. Because whoever's put them up to it, maybe they're looking for a way out. Okay, here, no, you can't do it. Do something. We can't, they just told us we have to put this out here. And so Stephen Miller is absolutely right. You got two choices. You either stand behind President Trump or we're in big trouble.
Trump is going to see this through to his conclusion, and we will find and remove every terrorist from this country, and President Trump will make this nation safer than ever before, and he'll do it over the fighting and opposition of the Democrat Party, over the fighting and opposition of the communist left-wing judges, over the fighting and opposition of the far-left federal bureaucracy. He will not be deterred, Sean. He will see this through, I promise you.
And Sean didn't follow up with the question. The question, when he said he's going to do it, didn't say maybe. Hopefully he'll be able to get around it. Oh, no. Despite all of this adversity, the judges, the media, the bureaucracy, despite all of that, he's going to do it. That's what Stephen Miller's words just were. He didn't say maybe, didn't say he's going to think about it, come up with a plan. No, he's going to do it. And Sean, you're sitting right there in front of him. Right there. He's sitting, he's all mic'd up. He looks good. He's in the studio or wherever. And he says all this, and you don't ask the next question? I am so sick of people in the media not asking that next question. You heard me say it today when Hans Monkey was on, and I was like, so, if you don't do it, what are you going to do? And he goes, well, you have to pretend like you're going to. And I'm like, well, how do you pretend? And he lost the signal. I'm like, oh my God. Man, hopefully it wasn't him anyway. Oh, he asked me the bad question. So the question, and every single one of you, you don't have to be a media person. When you heard that from Stephen Miller, what's the next question? How? Hey, Stephen, that sounds great. I'm behind President Trump 100%. Yes, he needs to keep going. But I got a question. How does he do that? See, it's like an unspoken thing right now. Everyone's like, you know, he might go like Andrew Jackson, right? Oh, yeah. What happens if he does like Andrew Jackson? Nobody wants to talk about it. This needs to be brought out into the open. This needs to be brought out so everybody can see, what are your options? Glenn Beck, straight up. Are you going to be like Andrew Jackson? You're going to call this a judicial insurrection? He didn't say no. That should have chilled many people. Because he didn't say overwhelming. No. We're not there. I can't do that to America. We can't just tell the judges to go pound sand. No, with a very terse look on his face, he goes, what did he say? What did he say? Were you listening? He said, I hope we're not there yet. So there's something he's waiting for, because you don't put yet at the end of a sentence unless you're planning on doing something. Honey, have you taken out the garbage? Not yet. Honey, have you eaten dinner? Not yet. Honey, is your show done? Not yet. President Trump, are you going to go Jacksonian nuclear on these people? Not yet. He didn't say no. Didn't say no. See, I love to listen to people as they talk, because they, especially people who are very direct with their words. And that man right there could have said, when Glenn Beck asked him, no, we're not going to do that. We've got to listen to what the judges say. No, are we there? No, we're not there yet. So he's waiting for something. There's something that he needs to see. There's something that President Trump wants to see happen before he fulfills the yet part. Because that yet part probably needs to see some polling data. I asked Mark Mitchell, I'm like, hey, ask this poll. If he blows through and says, Supreme Court, stick it, how many people are still with him? I bet you if that number comes back, hey, 80% of people are telling Trump, do it. Do it now. If he knows he has the people, maybe this is where you get involved. Trump, we're with you. We do it. Do what you need to do. Because that's the only thing holding him back. His decision. Talk about being lonely at the top. Because everybody around him is like, what's your opinion? Stephen Miller's like, do it. Maybe Marco Rubio's like, hold off. Maybe Pete Hegseth said, give me the ball. Who knows? Who knows what's gone around that room? But ultimately, it's his call. He's the only one who can say, let's do this. It's 4th and 1 right now, people. It's 4th and 1. I don't know if you ever played football, but if you've played football and you understand what the role of certain coaches are, there's your offensive coordinator, special teams coordinator, defensive coordinator. It's 4th and 1. The offensive coordinator tells the coach, I think we can make it. I think we could do this or do that. But he can't do crap if the coach doesn't go, do it. Or the coach will look at him, punt. Same thing in baseball. I don't know if you've ever watched the conversations that happen in baseball. When the pitcher's struggling and there's people on base, and the first person that the coach talks to when he comes out the dugout isn't the pitcher. There is a quick glance to the catcher. Is he done, or has he still got some? And I'm telling you, go watch a baseball game tonight. He'll give him the nod, or it'll be something quick. Like, give me the ball. You're done. I'll make the call. I'm going to ask other people here what you think, You got it? No, his arm is hanging. Get him out of here. All right, you're done. Get out. Or sometimes they run out the dugout and they already know. Boom. Bring that guy in. But nothing happens. And sometimes in baseball, the first person to come out would be the pitching coach. I'm telling you right now, you can always watch a baseball game. I've sat there with Robin like nothing's happening right now. What do you mean? He's just out there buying time. When you see the pitching coach come out, he's just like, all right, so I need about another 2 minutes because he's out there in the bullpen warming up, and and he'll say something like this because he's facing this way. He goes, "Where's the umpire? Is he walking out yet?" Nope, not yet. Because you'll see the umpire come out and go, break it up, we gotta go, get going here. But sometimes they'll be just talking. He already knows what he's gonna do. The umpire walks out and he's facing this way and the pitcher's looking this, and he will say, "Is he coming yet?" "Yeah, he's on his way out." "All right." And he knows the guy's walking, so he's got a couple more seconds. "Hey man, it's not working out, so let's try and see what'll happen here, blah blah blah." And then he'll go, okay, and he'll run back in the dugout, and then the guy gets a call from the bullpen saying he's ready. Head coach comes out and says, "You're done." All these little signals in sports that most people never ever know. They don't know that all this kind of communication is happening, but in any event, that communication ends with one person. And that one person has to make the call. And right now, should I take the pitcher out? Not yet. Oh, okay. Should we try to go for it on 4th and 1 here? Not yet. Okay. Should we go ahead and ignore the courts? Not yet. Yet. He didn't say no. Just want you to, I wanted to drive that home because that's very, very important. Something Diane says here, it's depressing, but never lose hope. See, that's just the opposite. It's not depressing. What's the difference? What's the difference between where we are being depressed and where we are being ready? Because the coach has said not yet. He didn't say we've lost, it's over, what are we going to do? I don't know what we're going to... No. Are you going to do this? Not yet. Okay. Instead of being depressed, you should be energized going, okay, we know this is going to be tough. It's going to hurt. There's going to be people screaming and wailing in the streets. Let's get ready. So when he pulls the ripcord, you're all ready. Bam, cutting videos, saying things, talking to your friends, talking to your family, because it's going to get insane. Now, Barry, how can you say all this with certainty? Because the Democrats are doing it right now. They know. Listen to this.
I want to ask you about something you told my colleague Chris Hayes last month. I'm quoting you here. "We will all have to take extraordinary action if the president doesn't obey the Supreme Court." The Supreme Court said the administration must facilitate the return of Kilmar Abrego Garcia, who was mistakenly deported to El Salvador. That has not happened. Are we at the point, Senator, where you feel extraordinary action is warranted?
Look.
Okay. She was reading her teleprompter there and messed up a couple of times, but what she actually said was he ignored the Supreme Court. He's not home. Everybody can see that. You guys all know. Is the dude here or not? No, he's not here. Is there any facilitation happening? No. So he told the Supreme Court, go pound sand already. It's already begun. So if the Democrats had any power to stop President Trump, you should hear a real easy answer from Chuck Schumer. So I'm going to ask you to listen to his answer and let his answer tell you how terrified they are of what President Trump is probably going to end up doing.
The case will be back to the Supreme Court. They sent it down to the lower court judge. But if the president disobeys a Supreme Court order, extraordinary action will be necessary. And we've never had that in the Republic before in the kind of way that the president is doing it. And again, he doesn't believe in democracy. He doesn't believe there should be diversity of opinion. He doesn't believe in due process. You can't pick up someone off the streets and send them somewhere if you don't have if you haven't presented evidence against them. The country, the democracy is at risk.
What would trigger that, and what would it be, Senator?
See, she's better than Sean Hannity. She is, even though she's on MSNBC, she knows right now, Chuck, you're talking crap. So it's a constitutional crisis, and we'll have to have giant action. Okay. What's the giant action you have planned? What is it you going to do to stop President Trump if he tells the Supreme Court to go pound sand? You just said we're going to have giant action. Oh, it's going to be huge how we respond. So you're expecting, I'm glad she asked the question. I was amazed she asked the question because she probably was curious too. What are you going to do? Listen to his answer. And when you hear this answer, you're going to go, oh, now I get it. Listen to the answer.
What would trigger it and what would that be?
Well, it would be, look, first, it would be if the Supreme Court makes a final decision and Trump decides to disobey it, and it will be on all of us, not just the political leaders, but certainly us, but on all Americans to resist that. And I think that would happen. Public opinion means everything here. And when the public learns more and more about what Trump is doing, whether it's on economics and tariffs to the universities or upcoming in this situation, I think the public's going to be outraged.
There's your answer. Nothing. Get mad. Riot. Go in the street. Protest. The public opinion. That's how they're going to combat this. That's all they got. They are right now Don Knotts in Mayberry. They're not carrying any guns. They got nothing. You heard? That's the Senate Majority Leader. And okay, what are you gonna do? What are you gonna do if he does it? Well, we're gonna get people upset, get mad, and try it in the court of public opinion. I found Donald Trump. I'm like, oh, that's what you got? Oh, it's almost time for yet. I was expecting, oh, here's what we're going to do. We're going to go ahead. Nope, we're just going to make you guys get out in the street. Okay. That tells you, in no uncertain terms, there is no answer if Trump pulls that trigger, which I don't think is an if. I may be out on a limb here. I may be one of the few people who are saying it, but I don't see anything else. But now you're seeing MSNBC and some of these news outlets go, what's up? What exactly are you going to do if he just says, get lost? No answer. That should tell you everything right there. There's nothing they can do. And they know it. We hope he could lose in the public opinion. Well, right now it's an 80-20. 90-10 issue. People want them gone. So the public opinion is already out there. With everything they've done, flying down to El Salvador and doing all this stuff, you can't get this thing below like 75% against. So Trump has the numbers. Now it's different, not just bringing the guy back, and it's different to, disobey. You notice that word's going to come out a lot. Disobey, as if the judicial branch can make the president, the executive branch, obey. That is going to be the linguistics they do. What happens if he doesn't obey? Take your obey and shove it. We have 3 co-equal branches of government. I'm not here to obey you. I got your opinion. I read it. I didn't like it. Bye. Done. What are you going to do? So I think some of you guys now have heard me talk about it, and you're now seeing it and go, oh, ooh, yeah, where are we? And the only thing you can do is be Don Knotts at Mayberry RFD, and you're going to run around and Barney Klemp, whatever his name was, Barney Fife, you got nothing. You're hoping the bad guys don't show up in town. Because if the bad guys show up in town, all you can do is just do this. Because there's nothing else. Now you guys know. We're all just waiting. And they're waiting. Because their reaction has to be the same as your reaction, but yours has to be louder. Let me know if you have any questions on it, because now you just saw it. The world is watching also. Yeah. I'll use his own words against him. Chuck, remember, President Trump has 6 ways a Sunday to get you. Hey, Lisa, President Trump is fighting before the sovereignty of America. Chucky, just take your man wife and ride into the sunset. Ooh, that's mean. That's mean. The court of public opinion voted the man into office. The majority has spoken. They need to get... Exactly, Nana. We've already, with the court of public opinion, put the guy where he is right now. You are so right. So if you know, imagine if you're President Trump right now. You know, I control the army, I control the marshals, I control the feds, I control the DOJ. If I'm a Democrat, I'm shaking. Because you've pushed this guy into a corner with every one of these judges doing all this crap again. All these judges, almost on an hourly basis, doing crazy stuff. You're pushing him. You're pushing us. And every one of us keeps saying, what's he going to do? What? How can this keep... Oh, we're going to wait for the Supreme Court. Supreme Court's just not doing anything. Nothing. Every single day, I think all of us wait to see, is Supreme Court going to weigh in? Don't know. But what I really want to know is, when's yet? Andrew Jackson was tough like Trump. He sure was. So 3% of people care if Harvard stays open. Yeah, it's nothing. NCL says the bait and trap have been set. Trump will trip the trap and slam the cage and fix the country. I don't know what could be the trigger at this point. Like you're saying here, trip the trap. What is it he's waiting to see? Is he actually giving SCOTUS enough time to hang themselves? Come on, guys. You need to do... Congress is off the table. Forget it. There's no way President Trump is waiting for them to come up with a bill. And every time I see people on X say, oh, Congress has to act. It ain't going to happen. This needs to happen now. This needs to move forward now. I would like to see him at the rally in Michigan next week actually come out on stage and said, boom, we're going forward. Or by then the Supreme Court has slapped these people down, one or the other. Maybe he's waiting to see if he has the military behind him. Hegseth is having issues keeping direct reports. Interesting that you would say that. Let me show you something, because something happened today that's, again, major move. Where is this thing here? I don't know if you guys saw this. And this is maybe what Dave is talking about. Boom. Defense Secretary Pete Hegseth, Chief of Staff Joe Casper, has now been pushed out. According to reports, he's packing his things and leaving today. This is the 5th top Pentagon official to leave in the last few days. What is going on? I don't know, George. But maybe that's exactly what's happening. I need to find out who is with us and who's against us. Against us, you got to go. Doesn't matter, even if you're chief of staff, you got to hit the bricks. It's amazing when you look at these court orders and you see all these judges. I'm flipping through them here. It's literally crazy when you see all this. The Supreme Court is asleep at the wheel. How many think Barry resembles Ice-T? Ice-T? Nah. I think it's going to take just over 2 more weeks. Maybe. He's waiting for more rodents to hop in this trap. That's a good point. Maybe he's wanting more. Come on, bring some more decisions. Let me see all the people I need to root out. I want to find out where all the rats are. But obviously at this point, you can tell the Democrats don't have any... they have no moves. So they're all sitting waiting as well. MSNBC ladies, what are you going to do? We're going to get people mad and get in the streets, and we're going to do it in the court of public opinion. Oh, that's the weakest answer I've ever heard. You're telling me you're going to fight in the streets. That's it. That's all you got. All right, so then you guys need to be ready as well. You need to get up there and get going. It's a tough life, people, but we got to do it. What do we got here? All right, so we got something that they're asking me to take a look at for you guys. This thing is called the Berry Pack. This is new, the Berry Patriot Pack. All right, so what do we got? Just got words from the people at Patriot Addict that they've assembled a brand new Trump collector's bundle. For everyone, it's going to be called the Berry Pack, and they're giving away to fanfare exclusive access at a price you won't believe. Just scan the QR code right over here or visit berrypack.com to reserve yours before everyone else. Forget everything you've seen before. This is the ultimate Trump collection featuring the Trump sequel hat. Where's the Trump sequel hat? Here's the Trump sequel hat. This is the Trump sequel hat. Let me go ahead and change over. Do a quick change. This is the Trump sequel hat. So that's included in the bundle. And also included in the bundle, it says, is the legendary red combat knife. So that's two things. The hat and the knife are in this bundle that they put together. One of the customers said they absolutely love it. One customer said the knife has a good weight to it and definitely not cheaply made. I recommend it for everyday carry. Another said the Trump blanket exceeded my expectations by far. All 4 items. So it looks as though, okay, you get the hat, you get the knife, you get the blanket, what else is in here? All of those that normally would cost $238, but we're practically giving it away for just $59. That's 75% off. They set aside just 500 packs for the audience, and I can't guarantee how many this thing will last. So you guys need to jump on that over at the QR code. You get it all. You get the hat, you get the knife, and you get the big blanket all together. The whole kit and caboodle. Yeah, you get it all. All of those for $59. Wow, that's a good deal. That's a really good deal. I might have to buy that for a friend of mine. That'd be real nice. Just go to berrypack.com or scan the QR code right over there. That's a new offer that they've given me. So that's pretty good. I like that. All right, be right back.
Back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so you've got a what's that say? I'm looking at something somebody said. Grady Judd said. Fallon said that Grady Judd said something about helping President Trump. I'm gonna have to look that up because I didn't know Grady Judd said anything. All right, but in any event, here we go. So I got some prominent Democrats who are seeing what's going on, and it seems like they're not crossing over, they're not trying to be Republicans or MAGA, but they're ringing a bell saying, you guys you're crazy. And we need to pull it back. If we have a chance of winning, we have to pull back. They can see that this stuff is getting crazy, absolutely crazy. So let's listen to this.
Here's what you're missing when you look at Signal. You can make it seem like it's a really big deal. Holy cow, you're talking about war plans with people who aren't vetted on an unsafe communication channel? Here's the problem with the analysis. That's all true, what I just said. Shouldn't be on Signal, not supposed to be on Signal, not supposed to be on devices that aren't government vetted and controlled, not supposed to be talking to people that aren't vetted and controlled and have that type of clearance, not supposed to be talking about that kind of sensitive stuff. But why? Why do each of those rules and don'ts exist? Why do those don'ts exist? Because you can screw shit up. You can expose information, make us vulnerable, make troops vulnerable, take away advantage, ruin strategic considerations, right? And on and on and on. Here's the problem with the analysis. Did any of those things happen? No.
So Chris Cuomo, formerly from CNN, is sitting here calling out the Democrats like, you're out here screaming and this and that could happen. And nothing happened. You made a big to-do over nothing. But you have to have some sort of sanity to understand, hey, nothing happened. You guys are screaming, but nothing happened. And so people who step back and they look at this thing from a 30,000-foot view are like, you're making a big deal out of nothing. It's kind of stupid. Notice how it kind of went away real quick. More and more people started realizing, so what happened? Nothing. Oh. So we can't go after him for this? No. Mm-mm.
The attack went off as planned against the Houthis and was successful. That's the missing piece. Hegseth wasn't paid off. Hegseth wasn't giving information in a way that compromised people on the ground, that fucked up the operation, that made it not go well, that, that disputed or distracted from or disturbed the aims and understandings of the administration. That's why it's too much heat and not enough light. I know you want the scalp. I know if...
See, that's just it. So you've got some Democrats, I got a couple more here, are trying to tell people you're blowing it. All you want to do is just go after people. Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump, hate Trump. And you're losing it, and you're not even making any sense. Nobody can understand what is wrong with you. And so there's some people on the outside, fringes obviously, outside looking in, are like, this isn't going to work. Especially when Trump pulls the trigger.
You hate Trump and hate everybody around him and think Hegseth is the worst person ever chosen as Secretary of Defense. You want him out. It's not going to happen. Not for something where there is no demonstrable injury to Trump. He's never going to give you the satisfaction of the scalp by going bad on one of his own guys that makes it look like he made a bad choice. It's not going to happen. And you shouldn't force it when you don't have the high ground. I'm telling you, if it were a Democrat in the same circumstances, you would not be hearing the Democrats saying the same thing.
Nothing wrong. So as always, I see in the chat, people type before they listen. I'm not telling you to trust Chris Cuomo. I'm not telling you to believe Chris Cuomo or anything to do with that. What I'm showing you is that there's some dents in the armor here. There are some people who are Democrats who are looking at everything that's going on, and they're trying to let them know this ain't gonna work. This is a hill you don't want to die on. Pete Hegseth isn't going anywhere. As much as it's all wasted breath. And so to me, it's almost like looking in and seeing what the enemy is doing. And so now you've seen two cuts, Schumer and Chris Cuomo, and they're both like, we got nothing. Stop. He didn't do anything. Nothing. Trump's not going to get rid of Pete Hegseth over nothing. Next one up, Senk.
With that. And of course on the left, guys, my God, we are offended at everything. We're offended at everything. And it's so annoying. And so the fact that the left can't see that is amazing, because now to my friends on the left who think, oh, no, you're just validating the right wing, etc. Guys, there's objective reality. When 79% of the country tells you that they don't want transgender women playing in women's sports, okay, you can say that you don't agree with that position. Nothing wrong with that. There's 18% who say yes, right? But understand that you're in the 18% and you're not in the 79%.
I find that to be most interesting, is that Democrats are so obtuse. They don't understand, they're on the wrong side of everything. Otherwise, these guys wouldn't be flying down to El Salvador and hanging out trying to, with a hunger strike or whatever they're doing. We're not coming back until you let them go. Yeah, you will, because eventually Bukele is going to say, get out. And then you won't have anything. But the problem that they're having is that it's starting to fray. It's starting to disconnect. Do I have any aspersions as though Chris Cuomo or Senk are going to vote Republican? No, that's not my point. They're not going to cross over. They're trying to save their party. You nuts over here don't get it. You're fighting losing battles. You cannot win these battles. And so the more I see these type of things, the more enthused I get, is because they're trying to wave the white flag. These nuts don't want to hear it. They don't want to hear it.
Mean you're wrong. It doesn't mean that one person is more right morally or not, but it does mean you're in the minority and your positions seem radical to others, right? And they can't get that through their head. They think, no, everybody thinks like us. It's only the fascists who say keep Messi out of women's soccer or LeBron out of women's basketball. No, it's not just the fascists. It's 80% of the country. So please, and when you go to burst these bubbles, the people inside the bubbles hate you.
Yeah.
So that's the situation I'm in.
Well, look, I
tomb. The people inside the bubbles hate you for bursting the bubble. Yeah, that's a very good analogy. So how bad is it really getting? Well, today, on the floor of the Florida Senate, not the United States Senate, the Florida Senate, all kinds of arguments happen because they're talking about the normal crazy stuff that Democrats talk about. And if we can see this happening here in Florida, you can bet it's happening in other states as well. So this guy here is the head. He's like the Chuck Schumer of the Florida Democrats. He's the head honcho of the entire Democrat Party here in Florida. Well, he was.
Finding may not want it. There'll be a caucus meeting later this afternoon where I hope that the members of the Democratic caucus will elect a new leader. Where today I FedExed my voter registration form to change my party affiliation to no party affiliation. Joe Scott should receive that by 8 a.m. tomorrow morning in Broward County. And here's why. Our constituents are craving practical leaders, not political hacks. We are entrusted to be guided by our conscience, and while I suppose it's easier in theory than it is in application, even my worst detractors have no valid claim that I can be bullied, that I can be bought, or even borrowed for a special interest. I am my father's son, even in his death. I am my mother's son, while she is still alive. I will not miss another one of her birthdays, and I will return to who I was when I became a young man, independent in thought, in my passion, and my conscience, not consultants.
Down here, that made all kinds of waves, and it should, because you're seeing that all over the place. Prominent Democrats are like, this is nuts. I don't have a place here. I'm a father, I'm a son, I'm a husband, and y'all nuts. I mean, crazy. And I have values, and I have structure. I'm not going to be a Republican right now. I'm going to change my affiliation, he said. And basically, he's going to be an independent. So I'm done. And I'm sending my information to Broward County and letting them know I am done. Because intelligent, functionally reasonable people in the Democrat Party can look at the insanity that's going on And that stench, that stain, that woke hive mind virus. You're like, I don't want this. This isn't what I signed up for. I'm a Democrat. I'm not a kook. And the kooks are currently running the Democrat Party. And so they're getting slimmer and slimmer and slimmer and slimmer, which means the Republicans should be putting their boots on the neck of the Democrat Party and stomping them out, and they're looking feckless in Washington. You, the people watching and people you know, reach out to people like him. People like him are looking for people to talk to him. Because all the people over here are like, Trump, oh my God, red hat, MAGA, oh, they suck and they're fascist and racist. And there's people like this guy who is like, I've been to Mar-a-Lago, I've been to Palm Beach. It's not true. I can't carry that mantle. You people are flipping nuts. Crazy. There are people out there. Robin today had lunch with our next door neighbor. No, actually across the street neighbor. Lady, 84 years old. She is from Cape Cod, and she comes down here during the winter, and then she goes back home for the summer. She's leaving in 2 weeks to go back home. And everyone around here said, don't talk to her about her politics. She's crazy. She's from Massachusetts. And so Robin got the message and said, no, we won't talk politics. Well, if you don't talk politics and you have dinner or lunch with her, how are you going to do that? You guys are completely different. She's 84. You're not that old. She's a deep blue person. You're red. You have nothing to talk about. She's the enemy, right? No. No. They had a great time at lunch. And they just sat there, and she said we were there for an hour and a half just talking. Let me see if I can pull it up. And that's Robin and our neighbor right there. And this woman is as blue as they come. But it proves we're not talking to the far left loonies. But there are people like the gentleman you just saw who are looking for a home. And I don't mean in your home. I mean, like, can we just talk? Can we go and have a sandwich? Can we go to a game and actually have fun together? I don't believe in your politics. You don't believe in mine. But can we just hang out? You're my neighbor. You're my family member. You're my coworker. Can we not just do this? Can we not just go out together and have a good time? Is it too much to ask just because you pulled a different lever that we can coexist? And I feel right now there are so many people, and I'm not going to say the left. Notice how Senk was saying it. As Senk was saying, he goes, the people on the left, which means he disassociated. I'm not them. I'm a Democrat. I'm not on the left. Those people over there are crazy. Which I'm going to show you in a second. But all those people, they're bat poop crazy. I'm just a Democrat. All the people that Trump has surrounded himself with who have said, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. The Democrat Party left me. There's a whole... it happened today. She's like, oh, after the show, like, how was lunch? That's fantastic. We sat there and we laughed and we talked, and the lady's a Democrat. She's just not crazy. And that lady over there owns this house across the street. She owns a house in Cape Cod, and if you know anything about Cape Cod, and she's invests and she does different things, she's not crazy. She pays her taxes. She renovated her property. She's always looking to do things. Her husband passed away, so she's by herself. She looks for someone to talk to. And she loves Midas, and Midas loves her. That's how we first met her. I opened the door one day, and Midas is out there walking with me, and he saw her garage door come up, and he bolted right to her. You know, I say animals can gauge people. Yeah, I believe that. I believe that. So, with what's coming, And as you see it coming, now might be the time to take a deep breath and start talking to the sane Democrats that you know, and like start bringing them over. Like, don't even go see a football game. Tonight is, by the way, I can't wait to see who they did. Tonight is the NFL draft. And if there's guys that you're used to seeing and they're not here, that's because they're sitting in front of a television watching the NFL draft right now. Maybe, football season comes and you guys go to a game together and it had nothing to do with politics. Just have fun. Because these people, I'm telling you, right now, have nothing to do with the nuts that you're seeing. Nothing whatsoever. The left-wing lunatics don't want anyone to talk to Republicans because they're afraid Republicans will show them the truth and their eyes will be open. Absolutely. Hey, Wendy. Wendy says, I was a Democrat when I voted the first time at 18 because that is what my grams was. By the next election, I was independent. And by the time George Bush came around, I was a Republican. Yep, that's what happens. I hope more people understand and can say, I didn't leave the Democrat Party. Yeah, that's what we need to see happen. I was always a Republican until they screwed Ron Paul, so I registered no party. The Republicans better be careful. You're right. I'm tired of hearing the Democrats talk about democracy. They sound like a bunch of morons. Andrew Jackson time. Mega, be ready and stand behind our President Donald Trump. So what Frank is saying right here is what I really, really want to impart upon you. Because the more you know, the more you can explain it to other people. Because people are going to say, oh, no one's ever done that before. Even Chuck Schumer said, oh, no one's ever done it before. Yes, they have. I showed you today. Yes, they have. And so when you're talking to people, and like, listen, you don't have to get mad. Oh, no one's ever done it before. Really? Did you know what happened with Andrew Jackson? And just talk to them. They don't know. They're not hearing it in the media. Every place that these people used to have to go to find out information is now blocked. Don't tell them anything. Lie to them. They don't know. Imagine if you're a Democrat and you find out that Trump's doing something. Oh, he's going rogue. He's doing this. Like, you know that's been done before a couple of times, right? No, I never knew that. Here, let me show you. Bam. It starts with one. I know some diehard Republicans who show no love. We gotta get over parties and unite on the good. That's how this country is going to heal. There are going to be a certain percentage, some of whom I'm about to show you, a certain percentage of people who are never coming back. I mean, they're just never coming back. They've been completely brainwashed. I don't know if they're communists. They're just never coming back. You know who they are. You know who they are. Yeah, God help our country from these crooked judges. Exactly. Let's see here. What else we got? I'm with President Trump all the way. I will never give up on President Trump. Absolutely. I don't care if it offends any. What's this? Where'd it go? Yeah, I don't care if it offends anyone. If you don't love this country, get out. Stevie Wonder can see that the Democrats are nuts. Oh, that's a good one. That is a good one. Wow, that's so funny. Okay, so what I have coming, James, you're right. MK Ultra is real. If you guys don't know what that is, go ahead and look that up. Go ahead and look that up. Oh wow. Somebody named M said, sorry, my daughter cut me off too. Yep, they've been brainwashed. They think we're a cult. They're knee deep. I mean, straight up cult. Absolutely crazy. All right, so when I get back from this quick break, I'm going to introduce you to, well, put it this way. I decided to do a different kind of top 10 spot tonight. I got 10 videos to show you, but they're all women. They're all liberal, lunatic women. Kind of women that Senk and Chris Cuomo don't want to have anything to do with right now because these people are crazy. So we'll be right back. And let me go here. I just want to say thank you to the Fanfare community. And if you're new here, I'd like to take a moment and welcome you. If you watch my videos, you've probably realized at this point that this isn't your usual podcast. The difference is that every single day, I try to make this show an open conversation amongst friends. You see, I believe that speaking to friends, here and in your own circle offline, is the best way to push back against all the lies being told by the Democrats and the media. I encourage people in this community to welcome each other, and in doing so become a source of support for those seeking to unplug from the matrix. If you'd like to communicate on a deeper level, I invite you to subscribe to the channel, but if you'd really like to surround yourself with like-minded patriots, join our free and private X group by going to fanfareshop.org/group. When you join this free group, a few things will happen. One, if you haven't used X before, you can use X without venturing into the sewer that it sometimes can be. Two, you can share content with friends that you meet here. 3, you will get notified every time I go live, so you can't count on YouTube notifications. And 4, and this might be most important, you get content that I can't share on YouTube or Rumble. So please take a moment and join our free and private X group. Just go to fanfareshop.org/group. Remember, it's members only. There are 16,000 plus people in that group right now, getting close to 17,000. To join our free and private members only X group, just go to fanfareshop.org/group. We'll see you there.
Welcome back to Fanfare with Barry Cunningham.
All right, so before I get to the 10 spot, I got to show you something funny. I don't know if it was Donald Trump or Eric Trump or somebody, but they dropped this started as a meme, and the meme was this, and it's President Trump unveiling the Trump 2028 hat. That's not real. This is a meme that was superimposed, but they're putting out the Trump 2028 hat. Let me see. And ABC News they're freaking out. President Trump's online store released a Trump 2028 hat on Thursday after teasing that he could run for president in 2028. Oh, but he can't do it. The Constitution's 22nd Amendment states that no one can serve as president for more than 2 4-year terms. Constitution says a lot, doesn't it? You're about to find out what the Constitution says. Instead of just laughing and saying, oh, that's pretty cool, he's got a Trump 2028 hat, they're all freaking out because he put it out there. They never cease to amaze me. All right, so you're going to hear this. This is a bunch of women, crazy women, and some of it's funny, some of it's just downright nuts. And if you hear it go silent, I didn't feel like taking the time and putting in all the censor beeps, but I did cut out most of I think I got all of the potty mouth stuff, because I know some of you guys don't like that. But this is kind of interesting. Ready? And so it's just, it's just crazy. And it's this one. Play.
Here's the big finish. 10 stories that you just gotta hear. Number 10.
Tomorrow is my son's court date for his name change. I am so excited. I didn't even think to get like a personalized gift. I could kick myself. And so now I'm just like scrambling for ideas. You may just have to get something late. Anyway, I just want to share that. I know a lot of creators talk about sharing trans joy, and I want to share the joy of being the parent of a trans person and getting to be part of just a really exciting moment for him. For us, it's exciting for me. I love it. I love the name he chose. Just all of it's so cool. All of it's so cool. In the midst of all of this, I'm just so excited. So, bye.
She must have loved Halloween. It must have been like her favorite holiday of the year. She's so happy. I got an idea for a present for him. Her. They. Whatever. a annual subscription to BetterHelp. That's what you can get, whoever it is. Wow.
Number 9.
When I found out my parents voted for Trump a third time, my dad wrote me a note that was like, we need to talk. And I said, I'm only willing to talk through a therapist because I'm not going to have this conversation for the third year in a row. This was back in November. And I had told them I'm removing myself a little bit from the role of the family. I'm going to be stepping back, but I'm not giving up. I'm still going to be there and I still love y'all. And my kids' relationship with you is really important to me, blah, blah, blah. The first thing is, A, they love me. They don't like me. Like, they would never choose to hang out with me if I wasn't related to them. I'm not going to go do...
I wonder why. Oh, they would never hang out with me. Number one, stop with the coffee or the yayo. One of those two. You could slow it down. You don't have to be at 10 all the time. Wow.
With people who have to shrink myself in front of. So since then, my dad's barely talked to me. His default is to emotionally neglect. He's made it clear his love is conditional. It's kind of funny, to be honest, how hard he has to try. He'll give me these limp hugs. Yesterday was my birthday. He didn't write anything. Even when my family did a little celebration the other day, he didn't say anything. I'm like, joke's on you, dude. You've been giving me a master class in emotional neglect my entire life. I know your love is conditional on me being compliant. I've mourned this already. I just cannot believe the behavior of some of these boomer parents. And all it does is reinforce to me that I'm breaking the cycle of that bullshit. And my kids would never be put in that position ever because my love is not conditional. When I found out
What? I have to put that down on half speed so I can hear what she had to say. Lady, I'm telling you, it's not your parents. It's not your parents that the problem is. Just I don't know if you got a man in the house or what, but wow.
Number 8.
Rosie, thanks so much for joining us. As you know, some people are...
All right, so I'm going to ask you something about this. I want you to watch Rosie here as she talks on CNN. As you may know, Rosie has decided to relocate to Ireland because she had to get out of the country because Trump was president. So the question I want you to answer is Rosie medicated? Is Rosie under some serious pharmaceuticals right now? Some don't look right. I was like, blink twice, do something. Look at Rosie here.
Entertain the idea of moving abroad after the 2024 election. You actually did it. Tell us about your experience so far, and do you have any regrets?
I have no regrets. Not a day has gone by that I thought it was the wrong decision. I was welcomed with open arms. I knew after reading Project 2025 that if Trump got in, it was time for me and my non-binary child to leave the country. And
hey, Wolf, can you ask her? Can you ask her how she knows the little whatever is non-binary? I mean, is there a sign that pops up? How do you know at that point that the kid is non-binary, or did you just realize at that point that you screwed that kid up? Because I'm thinking that might be it. He's going to be whatever you want because you basically packaged him.
although I was not one of the celebrities who announced that that's what I would do, I made the decision within my family and my therapist, and should he win, and then when he did, we made the plan into action, and we were gone before he was inaugurated.
You've been a longtime critic of this Trump administration and a target of President Trump, for that matter, as well. What has it been like?
Yeah, target. So I love how the media embellishes. You've been a target. Why? Because he takes swings at her and calls her, ugly and different things. That's a target. How about the things she said about him, Wolfie? Don't start nothing, won't be nothing.
Watching the last few months unfold from abroad.
It's been heartbreaking, I have to tell you. I knew that if I was in the United States and watched him destroy the country and the Constitution and really pay no mind to any of the laws that the founders stood by and that our country stands for as a beacon of shining light and freedom for the rest of the world, that should he do what the Heritage Foundation said he was going to do in that Project 2025, that we were going to be in big trouble. And it's as bad as they promised and even a little bit worse. And it's been heartbreaking and personally very, very sad to watch.
Wolf should have said, blink twice if you're okay, Rosie. Blink twice. Do something. Touch your nose. Show us that you're not crazy. What has happened? What went crazy once he got inaugurated? What's changed for you? They just make stuff up.
7.
It's about making sure that there is white supremacy in this country. And if we're honest, we will say that. It is about making sure we will make sure that people who DEI is really all these code words. You used to use woke. I asked you to define what woke meant. You couldn't really define it for me. Tell me what it means again.
Woke ideology is taking extreme views of American culture and trying to tear down America from the inside out and go outside of our cultural norms and invade every corporation, university.
You asked him a question. He's serving it up again, and you don't want him to talk, which is classic with liberal women.
What is DEI?
Other institutions.
What is DEI?
That's incorrect.
Tell me that's incorrect. But what is DEI? Tell me again.
Diversity, equity, and inclusion, and trying to guarantee outcomes instead of guarantee opportunity.
Trump's cabinet looks like DEI.
I was speaking, and I do want us to not get off the rails because
she just said we're all white supremacists. We got to address this.
Saying a whole swath of voters and saying they voted because they're racist or misogynist, not because their
those were my words, yours. But go ahead.
Okay, but they're voting because of their pocketbook.
I said it was.
Democrats will keep losing if they do that.
All the voters were white supremacists, but it's not about eggs. She said it was about pocketbook issues. It's not about pocketbook issues.
You don't think people were at all motivated by the state of the economy?
Of course they were. Absolutely. But yes, and you're smart enough to know yes, and yes, they were upset about pocketbook issues. And they're also upset about what people are.
They do have an opportunity, but we're treated to sort of similar comments to what Kerry made tonight about race, white supremacy, all of Trump's ideology and people and voters and everything. It's all about white supremacy. This was rejected in the election. Democrats ran this was the animating thing of the Harris campaign, and it was rejected.
Okay.
Was it? And I am constantly.
I don't know how CNN has this stuff on the air. It is an absolute train wreck, and you have to salute Scott Jenkins. Because you have to say, Scott, I don't know how you sit in front of these nuts. These people are completely... She's talking about white supremacy. Look at your head. You have basically plastered on white supremacy. You weren't born with that hair. You bought it at the store so you could look white. I always find it odd. I understand fashion. Robin always tells me, just leave them alone. It's like, I can't talk to people who cry racism, and yet then appropriate the style of the people they supposedly think are supremacists. So either you have Stockholm Syndrome or you're a complete moron. When you look at her hair, that's not her hair. And I don't besmirch her for wearing a wig. I look at you and say, how can you dare talk about white supremacy and then model white supremacy if it was so called? If white stuff is bad, then why do you have a head of horsehair that makes you look like you're white? It doesn't make any sense. You should have a little, Joy Reid thing going on. You got long black hair that we know is not yours. So as you're saying this stuff on television, you gotta believe the people watching the television show, like, I'm confused. You think that white people are bad, but you try to emulate them. Make it make sense.
shocked at what you're not aware of, which is Donald
I'm
Trump's
constantly shocked with
performance.
what you're not aware of.
Well, I don't know. I tend to be more right about it than you are. But the reality is he did better. He did better among minority voters than any Republican in a half a century.
Yeah,
I seem to be totally unaware of it.
But it's also true.
But if you're going to come out and call half the country a white supremacist, I think you've got to explain it.
I didn't say the country. I said this was
Sure
about white supremacy because what he ran on was making America great again, which is another code word. You like to say woke.
Make America great again is a code word. For what? Making America great again? MAGA? That's code, M-A-G-A. What's it a code word for? Now, I have to have full disclosure. What's her name? Carly Campion and I have had run-ins on X before, way back when she was on ESPN. And I called her out then, so that's why I feel comfortable saying it now, because I said it way back then. And then she and I went back and forth on some stuff. I'm like, you didn't make sense when you were working on ESPN. When you were working on Stephen A. Smith's show, you were dumb then. Now you're in a whole different realm, and you have no clue what you're talking about.
Saying the election was about.
I'm saying it was I'm saying
Alyssa,
what Trump was about was making sure he is making sure that he stays back.
It's not even.
Numbers.
Okay, we only got a few more of these to go through. You can do it. You brace yourself, because that wasn't the worst. And I should have named this segment "Liberal Ladies Losing It" or "Liberal Lady Loons Losing It," because I don't know how I found all these today, and I'm like, oh my gosh, what am I going to do with all this content? I'm going to have to let everybody else see what I had to see.
Thanks.
But I'm one of those people that I feel that the Earth is overpopulated. So when it comes to...
Then why do they want us to have more babies?
Well, they want more babies because it affects not only the workforce, but paying into entitlement programs.
Social safety.
But what I would say is this is a short... They're missing the greater point. AI is going to be a problem for our entitlement programs way before the birth rate.
What entitlement programs?
So like the social security. If you have less people working in the workforce, you have less people paying into a system that eventually has to pay. It's going to bankrupt the social services. The problem here is AI is going to defeat that way before our birth rates are. So they're missing something greater. They have to rework our social system.
Well, they need to tax billionaires for one thing.
That would help.
And corporations.
Yeah.
We got to go after the millionaires and billionaires, because the millionaires and billionaires and babies and AI, and these people have no idea what they're talking about. None. I'm thinking, do they really have a studio audience? I may have to go to New York and get a ticket to go to The View, just so I could sit in the audience. And I'll sit in the audience like this. And look, I won't say nothing because I don't want them to attack me. But I'll look at them and go, are you real? Can I poke you? Because you can't be this stupid. You must have been bored coming to New York City to ask for a ticket to come see The View. Or either they paid you. Because I can't believe people would go sit in that audience and listen to that complete crazy babbling. But still not the worst.
Number 5.
We were really south on kitchen table issues. We weren't really good about the family room issues.
I disagree with you.
In case you want to know, I don't know who the lady is. She has a podcast, and the guy here is Rahm Emanuel, who had been a pretty heavy hitter in the Democrat Party. In fact, I would venture to say a few years ago, Rahm Emanuel was basically on par with James Carville. Those two guys were power brokers in the Democrat Party. And so now he no longer fits with what they believe. And the pained woman here is going to let Rahm know.
I disagree with you 100%.
Okay, the only room we did really well was the bathroom. And that's the smallest room in the house.
That is such bullshit. That is total bullshit. That is buying into the right-wing media narrative. And I'm so sick of Democrats like you selling out and saying this. You know who talks about trans people more than anybody? MAGA. MAGA is the most genital-obsessed political party I have ever seen. Kamala Harris talked about home ownership. She talked about kitchen table issues. Trump's over there droning on about Hannibal Lecter. Are you kidding me? This is where the Democrats lose, because we're playing the game with the rule book. They've ripped the rule book up and are cramming it down everybody's throat. And Democrats are upset because Joe Biden pardoned his son. We got to fucking fight. They're the gender obsessed weirdos, not us. We're the ones who fight for Social Security. We fight for Medicare. And yeah, we're not going to bully trans people.
I'm sorry for the F-bomb. I missed that one. I told you there's a whole bunch in here. But Rom's sitting there like, I've been a political operative for like ever. You're talking about 5% issues at this point. Nobody cares. Nobody cares. But please continue. And the reason I'm putting this together, because this is where they are right now. This is the state of the Democrat Party. They're angry women. Completely angry women. You seldom see men anywhere on X doing this stuff. They've lost it. I don't know what happened with their chromosomes. I don't know what they hate Donald Trump because of the stuff they heard about him with Stormy. I have no idea what's wrong with women. Liberal women. But they feel as though they're completely omniscient. They know everything. They don't want to hear it. And then the stuff that they care about, they think those are kitchen table issues. This is what we have to keep pushing. And Rom's laughing at her going, it's not going to win. You guys keep doing this. You're going to put your party into oblivion. They don't want to hear it. Don't want to hear it at all. Craziness.
Not going to fucking do it.
I'm not
if you want to do it, fine.
Hey, let me say this: as mayor, 2016, I dealt with the bathroom issue. It's not my most important issue. It was dealt with, and I appropriately dealt with marriage equality, as I said.
Well, it's certainly important to the Republicans. For me, it's just important not to bully them. And I think this is the death knell of the Democrats. It upsets me. It upsets me so much because we live here in this red state, and you see the damage of it. When I see politicians that are supposed to be leaders in the Democratic Party buy into the narrative that Republicans have defined us by, instead of fighting and saying, you're the weirdos that are obsessed with it. Yeah, we're not going to bully some trans kid. And we buy into their narrative. It's why I think we lose. And I have to live in a state where women, rape victims, can't get an abortion because of this bullshit. And so I'm going to fight till the bitter end, and I'm not going to let some MAGA moron define what progressive values are. And I think it's a really dangerous precedent, Mr. Emanuel. I'm sorry, but I have to push back. And I'm not some coastal elite liberal.
Listen, you choose to live, but I just got to be honest with you. You keep talking about living in this red state craziness. You know, there is U-Haul if you want to move out, but I'll just tell you this. My view is there's a whole set of issues, and these are side tangential issues. They're not core.
Sorry about the... I was trying to put it together and some of them slipped by. But there's no talking to these people. How sad is it that a Clinton-Obama type consultant like Rahm Emanuel, you could actually talk to him better than that woman? He's trying to tell you, nobody cares about this stuff. It's a losing issue. She's like, we're going to fight for it. We're going to ram it down their throat. They need to know that they need to embrace transformers. And he's like, move. If you're in a red state and you don't like what's happening, she's obviously talking about Florida, then move. Nobody's keeping you here. You're not going to win in Florida. Nope, ain't going to happen. And he's trying to tell her that. He's giving her sage advice. Same way you would talk to people in your family. Like, stop. Nobody wants to hear this crap. No, you know how you can prove it to people? Tonight on every sports channel, ESPN and Fox Sports and everything else, everyone's looking at the draft and they're critiquing everything, how long the guy's arms are, how fast he can run, how many receptions he had, how many tackles, and not one time are you going to hear, well, he used to be a girl. No. The entirety of the American public is this much cares about the stuff that the Democrats right now care about. It's just, it doesn't move the needle. But they won't give it up, which is good news. You're getting a glimpse into the future, and you realize this is what they want to do. You heard David Hogg get into an argument with Reince Priebus, and he's like, "Hey, we're gonna primary everybody who doesn't want to hold the flag of Transformers and newcomers." You're basically handing the election to J.D. Vance or Donald Trump. You have no choice. So the only thing stopping us right now is the courts. You're seeing their leadership. You're seeing the people who follow the Democrats, and you realize now why they had to go to the courts. It's like, oh, we got nothing but nuts. We got nothing but crazy loons. Let's continue with more loons.
4.
Because when I look at something like this, these proposals, I want to know why, and I want to know who's making them. And so when I looked into that, they're saying that the U.S. birth rate is declining. However, in 2024, there was a 1% increase in U.S. births. But that increase was with Hispanic mothers and Asian mothers. So they don't seem to be concerned about that increase. They seem to be more concerned about a decrease in other populations.
Say it.
No, I think I said enough.
It's not based on that.
And so, well, it's just based on a study. And so the other thing
but have they said that anywhere? I mean, I feel like it to be fair.
It's just fair to hope. It's just a.
Have they said that this is to target only white families?
Oh, I didn't say that.
You have to read between the lines.
I just gave the stats.
Yeah, but it's
about economics. They're wanting people to pay in.
I'm just giving.
Number.
Tell me the next time you hear one of these nuts actually support anything Trump says. Something as innocuous as encouraging people to have children. Have children. Yes, obviously, if you're only getting $5,000 and that $5,000 is the difference between you having a kid or not, don't have the kid. You can't afford it. We need people who are going to have children anyway, and here's just an extra $5,000. Not just pump out something. No, that's not going to work. That's what the other people were doing, not us.
3.
When the Founding Fathers made this great country, I'm going to stop you right there. The Founding Fathers owned slaves. The Founding Fathers had less access to education than a modern-day 12-year-old. They don't know anything. I don't care what they wanted. I don't care what they think. It's unconstitutional. I should hope so.
Pump your brakes, girl. They all have the crazy eyes. They all have the crazy eyes.
The Constitution was written by people who didn't think women should vote. The Constitution was written by people who had 15-year-old wives dying in childbirth frequently. The Constitution was written by people who had little cartoon Elmer Fudd shotguns, not automatic war machines capable of ripping down 100 children in a minute. And
what's a war machine? I've never seen it. I don't know.
And will again. The whole point is to change. The whole point is to progressively make better decisions so we do not repeat the atrocities of our ancestors. If I was born at any other time in American history, I would have been burned at the stake or lobotomized. And
it sounds like that's already happened. It sounds like if you thought that was going to happen at another time, somehow it's already happened. Maybe you got the liquid lobotomy because these are people who are never going to marry, never going to have kids, and never going to understand what it means to be a family. They've lost it. This is someone who's never coming back.
The people doing that are the ones who know what should be going on today. We don't want to listen to the people who cured tuberculosis or decided, hey, maybe we shouldn't put lead in house paint. You are actively repeating the atrocities of your ancestors. You're doing it on purpose. I don't care about the Founding Fathers.
Number.
I had to see it. You had to see it. All right. But When I say I had to see it, so you had to see it? Oh, you ain't seen it all yet. Oh, it's coming.
2.
Well, they just dropped the student loan bomb. The federal government just announced that it's coming for your loans, and collections begin May 5th for student loan debt.
Some of you guys were here this afternoon, and I talked about the student loan, and I kept finding women over and over, women complaining about student loan. And I found this one. You know, maybe she goes sell her nose ring, see what she can get for it, pay off some debt. You know what I'm saying? But they're all complaining. You took out the loan, not me.
If you're in default, they can garnish your wages, they can take your tax return, and they can even take like your benefits like Social Security. And if you still can't pay it and you default, they're going to send you to collections. There are about 5.3 million people in the United States right now in default. This is going to hurt the people that are already struggling the most. They are really just trying to absolutely cripple as many people as possible at this point. It's pretty clear they want us completely broke. They don't give a fuck about our health. They don't really give a shit if we die. Yeah, they're just going to cut fucking everything. This really just paves the path for so much more bullshit. I just realized that's about the same amount of people that have been at the protests. Interesting. Well, see you guys May 1st. That's the next one.
Number.
Oh, man. You took out a loan. They're asking you to pay it back, and it's the end of the world. It is the end of the world. They're just destroying lives. How about the people you're expecting to have to pay back your debt? What do you think is happening with them? Democrat Party's in such bad. The reason why I'm showing you these things tonight, to let you know how bad it really is. How bat poop crazy it really is out there.
1.
I don't know who needs to hear this, but if you are celebrating Trump beginning collections on...
I don't know. I can't tell you. I'm not sure. Don't want to get myself in trouble, but I don't know.
Federal student loans, it is not only f***ed up, but you are not standing on principle. You're not. I'm sorry. You are celebrating people's suffering. Actually, I'm not sorry. Let me amend that. You are celebrating people's suffering, and you are not just saying, oh, yeah, it's good for you. It builds character, and if I had to do it, you should. No. You are sentencing someone to being labeled as a criminal, to have debt.
I'm sorry. Wait a second. Not paying your student loan makes you a criminal? And we're sentencing you to being a criminal because you're not paying your loan? Guess what, honey? Oh, I'm sorry. I can't.
A collection hanging over their heads to have their wages garnished, to have their taxes fucked up, to have their Social Security benefits fucked with. Like, you are putting a person who is in a much different situation than you were when you were paying your student loans to have their life compromised, to be set up for failure for the rest of their life. We are already in a recession.
Since when is paying a debt or not paying a debt, you're screwed for the rest of your... This person can't be more than 24, 25 years old. And it has in its mind that whatever debt they have accumulated thus far ruins their life forever. Talk about throwing a temper tantrum, stomping your feet, screaming. Notice these people can't put together full sentences. That's one of the problems you have. You went to college, you took out loans, and you can't put a full sentence together without swearing. Every other word. I'm sitting here trying to delete the F-bombs and everything else, and I'm like, I get tired of dealing with this. Can't y'all just talk? Can you just not make sentences without screaming profanities every other word? That's very indicative of what you guys have learned as being in college, because you can't put together sentences. So I don't know which ball team they play on here, but to think that your life is over. Yeah, there's nothing I can do. Oh, my credit score is ruined forever. I don't know what I'm going to do. You haven't borrowed that much money for your life to be over. That's a newsflash. You can go get a job, hopefully because you went to college, and if you go to college and you learn something worthwhile, then you could get a job and pay off that debt. Millions and millions and millions and millions of people did it. Their lives weren't destroyed. It's insane how nobody talks to these people, and no prominent Democrats tell them, oh, the Republicans are going to screw your life forever. You're 24, 25. I would hate for someone to be that young and feel because they have to pay back a loan that even if you can't pay it right now, your life is not over. I don't understand. It's a debt. Just pay it back. Get a job. Do something.
We are already all struggling financially and have been for quite some time. And what? Now this is something we celebrate. This is something we say, oh my God, I'm so happy that people who are defaulted, who are severely in debt already and in a financial crisis already.
Why are you in a financial crisis if you're still in college or just got out of college? I don't understand. How can you already have a financial crisis at that age?
Yeah, let's just push them over the edge. Let's just take them for all they've got. Let's just send them to collect.
You don't have anything. You just told us in this entire video, look, take them for all they got. What do you got?
Why? Because I had to pay my student loans. What? Are we not all here so that we can reduce our collective suffering?
No. That's not why we're all here. We are not here to reduce everybody's collective suffering. You don't have my last name. I'm not your daddy. I don't have the responsibility of making sure that your collective suffering is taken care of. I have a daughter, I have a wife, I've got grandkids, and you ain't one of them. And I'm pretty sure everybody watching it here is like, what do you mean collective suffering? Grow up. See, that's the problem these kids have. They don't understand what it means to be an adult. Something's not clicking with them. Not at all.
Might want to call me a monkey.
All right, so I don't know if you guys know this. I might have to rewind that a little bit because that was just too much. So, over in the Washington state, they have now decided they are giving reparations to black people. They are going to give you $120,000. Give you $120,000 reparation so you can go buy a house. And I'm sure there's white people in the audience here going, huh? What you mean, Willis? What do you mean they get $120,000? And you guys live in Washington State. This happened today. They're giving out $120,000 to black people for reparations so they can go buy a house. But they're not happy.
Might want to call me a monkey today because I want to participate in our inclusive economy. This is getting ridiculous.
The people in my community are asking for restorative justice. They're asking.
What the hell is restorative justice? Can anybody tell me what that means? Oh, that means they want get some. I think when you open up restorative justice, oh, I want some of what you got. That's pretty much what the definition is. Restorative justice. You see how they just change words? Undocumented migrant. Restorative justice. They're very good at changing vocabulary. And then they got people like who work here who make sure you have to use their words. What is restorative justice? Now that you're using it so flippantly. Oh, I want what you got. Okay, now I know.
Asking for us to repair the harms that previous members of this institution, and I would dare to say, Mr. Speaker, some current members.
So you're going to have to perform some restorative justice and submit to some restorative justice because someone you know somewhere, maybe, I don't know, 200 years ago, did something that we don't like, and I've never baled any hay, I've never been on the bottom of a boat, but I get $120,000 of your money to go buy a house. Make it stop. Make it stop. But I'll tell you what, if I was in Washington in the real estate business, I'd be looking for every black customer I could find. Hey, come on, you got 120 grand, right? Oh, we got to do some business. Idiots.
When white people are the dominant group. How do you pin them down, though, on that? How do we pin the fact that restricting abortion access was Jane Crow Part 1, and that then incentives to procreate that are very specifically tailored to specific groups are Part 2. How do you make the subtext textual?
I'm curious what if Black and Latina and Asian women said, sign me up? Like all these programs that you're offering, let's see if they will still offer them. I mean, we saw this. I mean, I know it's not a one-to-one comparison, but we saw with certain gun control, right? When the Black Panther Party said, oh, well, you want to have guns? We want to have guns. All of a sudden we have gun laws, right? And we saw backpedaling. What if women of color said, all of these policies that you're making so easy for other women, what if we were all of a sudden interested?
You mean you want black women to get money for having babies? Don't let me go down that road. Don't let me go down that road whatsoever. Okay, I'll go down that road. So you want the largest population that does baby removal to now get in the other line and have babies for cash. What is wrong with... Notice, every single one of the people I showed you today, except for when Rahm Emanuel was talking, was all women, all liberal women who have completely lost it. And I don't know which of these women actually have normal relationships. It's hard to determine how you can have a better life if you're just bat poop crazy, and I'm pretty sure no guys want to be around it because you're nuts. Absolute crazy town. I don't get it. And I love what Mona said here, which is really good. Isn't what Mona says here is quite well. If you can decide at any time to be a woman or a man, and nobody can question you on it, so why can't white people decide that they're black and get $120,000 to go buy a house? How do you rationalize that? Like, hey, no, that's our money. Well, no, I identify as black, but you're not black. I identify as black. You never had to be actually a man or a woman. You could identify as such, right? That's how it works. That's what Dylan Mulvaney did. Hey, I am a woman. So why can't I be black right now and apply for this loan? I would love to see that tongue twister. I would love to see that lawsuit. So Mona, you're absolutely right. I just found out I'm black. Today I'm black. Where do I sign? And as far-fetched as that sounds, it's absolutely true. What happens if Mona decided right now, hey, listen, I'm gonna go get me some of that reparation money. I was Sanford & Son good times. Yeah, man. I'm black now. What are they gonna tell you? Oh, no, you can't. What do you mean? Explain to me how I can't turn into a black person, but yet someone can turn into a completely different other sex, gender, whatever. How's that happen? How's that work? How's that work? Oh, Sue's funny. Sue's funny. You can be a cat if you want. I'm not positive, but I think the state of Washington didn't become a state until 1889 and didn't even have slavery. Can you imagine living up there right now and you just heard that in the news? You came home from dinner, kicked off your shoes, put a blanket, watched some television, and you're like, oh, by the way, you're going to be paying black people to buy houses, $120,000 each. What? See, but liberals saw that announcement and went, power, speak truth to power, whatever the hell that means. Because your liberal card will get pulled if you go, hey, I'm not paying for that. Oh, give me that card back. You're no longer one of us. You can't. They've got it to the point where liberals who believe in X or Y, if you had a question about giving away $120,000, they're going to pull your card. No, you got to believe it all. But I don't want to give people $120,000. I want someone to give me $120,000 for a new house. I would become a fish, but I can't swim. Oh, it's a class action lawsuit waiting to happen for sure. I can't put up that that Michelle Obama thing. Yeah, right. Where is this money coming from? Well, it's a state thing, so it's coming from them, the people in the state of Washington. That's what I'm saying. At this point, you may have been all in on liberalism, and now you came home from work and find out we're going to give out $120,000 to any black person as reparations so they can buy a house. And all of a sudden, now you've got that huge cognitive dissonance. You're like, huh? Wait a second. Oh, no, you're a liberal, aren't you? I was. I'm starting to feel like I'm MAGA. Are you people nuts? What about where'd that go? What about the white people? Do we get $120,000 for a house? No. It's not a reparation. You get nothing, sir. You get nothing. Like Willy Wonka said. Nothing. I was wondering the same thing. Who's paying for this? Yep, it's out there. Go look it up. You can look it up yourself. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. So speaking of crazy, I have a bonus clip for you. I went through 10, but I have a bonus clip. This clip, I said I was going to show you all liberal women tonight, and this clip is so wacky, they won't even allow me to talk about it. I'm just going to have to show it to you. And you can comment on it yourself, but there's not much I can say about this. But